Gee, I wish I could figure out how to make my soapbox car go faster.
I don't know. Looks like those cars are going fast enough down that hill.
Hey, did you notice they don't start all the way up the hill? It looks like they start about halfway down.
Yeah, I wonder why they do that.
Hey, what are you two doing?
Watching a tape of last year's soapbox derby race. We're trying to figure out what makes one car go faster than the others.
I thought you already knew everything.
Ha ha. Hey, let's check out the website. Maybe they have something that can help us out. I need to see some speed records.
Okay, let's go look.
Hey, look at this. They used to start the race further up the hill than they do now.
Yeah, I wonder why they moved the starting line.
I don't know, but I bet it had something to do with speed. What do you think? Can you figure out why they moved the starting line?
I think it's important to concentrate and drive the track the best way that you can without swerving, without making unnecessary movements. And one major thing I think would be once you're up to speed and at the bottom of the hill is wherever you go, let the track take you there, because by that point it's not worth wasting the energy on trying to turn the car.
You know what?
What?
I think there were more winners in the center lanes last year than on the outside lanes.
So, are you going to try to weasel your way into starting in the center lanes when you race?
Remind me to try for an outside lane next year so I can prove you wrong again.
No, I'm not imagining this. I know the soapbox derby tries to make everything even, but someone has to have an advantage. Someone always wins.
Maybe Alex can tell us.
Yeah, he's a lot smarter than us. He has to be to work on one of those cars from his university class.
Another visit to the Oracle of Automotive Wisdom.
Say, Alex, my brother's trying to prove something to us. He thinks that those soapbox racers that start on the center lane have some sort of advantage over the ones on the outside lanes.
Hey, I know what I saw.
Well, I don't know about the center lane advantage, but I do know that the track used to be longer. Yeah, it used to be over like 1,000 feet long, but they've changed the length a couple of times. I think now it's 953 feet long. That was done to slow the cars down a little bit.
But what gives one car more speed than the others?
A lot of things. Have you ever seen them make pit stops during the NASCAR races?
Yeah, but this is soapbox derby. Those cars have motors. Ours don't.
Well, they make adjustments on their cars during pit stops. You'll have to do something like that before you race. You know, adjust your alignment, make sure your weight is balanced right. It also has something to do with the way you sit in your car and how well you drive.
But it's just a straight shot down the hill.
Well, yes and no. If you look closely, you'll see how each driver has to steer themselves down the hill. Each driver has to steer a different way. Like when I was in lane 1, I had to cut to the left a little bit, and the other drivers had to cut to the right.
Okay, so each lane's a little different, but aren't the starting ramps the same?
Actually, no.
They aren't? Why not?
Before the big day, they make several runs down the hill and adjust each ramp up or down a little bit to make the start of each race as even as possible. It sounds easy, doesn't it? Why don't you see if you can make all 3 lanes of Derby Downs equal? We'll wait right here for you.
The most important thing about driving is there's a phrase, and it says you want to run where the water runs. It's what that means is there's very few tracks that you'll come across that are perfectly flat and level. It's near physically impossible. As a result, there's always going to be a crown. Your soapbox derby race will run fastest at the lowest point of that crown. So here at Akron, for example, the track kind of crowns in the middle. So that's why if you watch the racers, they'll go to the inside of the lane. Many times when there's a race on a city street, it's vice versa. Usually the street kind of crowns the opposite way. So racers will pull toward the outside. So basically you want to run, your car will run fastest at the lowest point of the track. So a lot of times what racers may do at an unfamiliar track they've never been to is they'll literally just pour water, or they may put a tennis ball, and wherever that tennis ball goes or wherever that water flows down the track, that's where you want to put your racer.
Whoa! Look how fast those cars are going.
I'm surprised they don't spin out going that fast.
Well, the designers of the racetrack took care of that.
Oh.
Well, by banking the turns. When a race car goes into the turn, the banking puts pressure against the car, forcing it out of its straight line coming off the straightaway. So even though the speed's pretty high, the car's movement and direction stay under control.
What would happen if the curve wasn't banked?
Going that fast, the car would probably spin out. You see, the spinning wheels wouldn't put enough force to pull the car around the corner, and the curve would stop the car's motion just long enough to cause the car to go into a skid.
Sounds like more Isaac Newton stuff.
You got it. It's Newton's law of motion again. The car is going forward in a straight line until something changes its course. In this case, it's the curve. Hey, remember that day I took you to the university to look at the cars? Each of the cars we're building are designed to do different things. The Formula car is designed for speed, the Mini Baja car is designed for endurance, and the high mileage car is designed for economy. Each of them is designed to run on a different kind of road. If you look around town, you see all kinds of different roads. Freeways are designed for higher speeds than side streets.
You wouldn't want to drive as fast here in the neighborhood as you would on the interstate.
That's right. The engineers who designed those roads had to figure in the amount of speed people would be driving on them. Like people that drive on freeways want to go the greatest distance in the shortest amount of time.
So, speed's affected by distance and time, even at Derby Downs?
You got it, Austin. So you can see that even though the race course is shorter than it used to be, the speeds aren't that much slower. I mean, today's cars, hill length, and starting ramps all play a role in how fast you'll be able to get to the bottom.
So it's up to me to build a better race car than everyone I race against.
Everyone except me next year.
The Soapbox Derby helped me understand and get a better grasp of mathematics and science in a variety of ways, because those are two of the most essential components of Soapbox Derby racing. There's a lot of physics involved. I was talking about aerodynamics and wind drag earlier, and those are key concepts of Bernoulli's principle, which you'd eventually learn in your high school physics class. That's the same principle that they use in modern airplanes. You have to learn about other types of friction between your wheel and axle, friction between your axle and your floorboard. You have to learn about strength, a little bit of material science. You learn about what type of glues and epoxies to use in your car, what will make your car stronger. You learn what kind of woods are best to use. You want a strong, dense wood for your floorboards, so you have to investigate the density and the type of different woods. And then mathematics is just so essential because everything comes down to numbers. You have minimum and maximum measurements that the Derby provides as guidelines, and you want to use those to the best of your advantage. So when you lay out your blueprints, you got to basically lay out the most mathematically competitive car as far as what's your minimum, maximum girth, your allowed length, width. So the numbers are a key essential because you have to measure everything before you build it.